Top against bottom in the Premier League this afternoon, and a huge opportunity for Arne Slot and Liverpool. If he can win for the 16th time in 18 matches as head coach down on the south coast, there will be clear blue water between Liverpool and their title rivals after Manchester City's defeat at the Etihad to Tottenham yesterday evening. Liverpool looking for a 50th league victory over Southampton this afternoon. It is a 2 o'clock kickoff down at St Mary's. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome along to Matchday Live. We will get down to the South Coast very shortly. We'll also get the thoughts of Charlie Adam and Gary Gillespie too. Let's first bring you the Liverpool team though this afternoon, picked by Arne Slot, which shows 3 changes from the side that beat Aston Villa just before the international break. One of those is enforced in defence as Connor Bradley comes in for the injured Trent Alexander-Arnold. Also into the side, Dominic Szoboszlai and Cody Gakpo, with Luis Diaz and Alexis McAllister dropping to the bench. Diaz played for Colombia against Ecuador on Tuesday. Alexis McAllister started for Argentina against Peru a day later. Harvey Elliott is back on the Liverpool bench this afternoon. And we will pick the bones out of that team very shortly. But as I said, Gary, this feels like a huge moment in Liverpool's season, given what happened to the champions last night.
Well, it's a brilliant opportunity for them. I think looking at the results that have gone before them, everybody's talking about Manchester City. Arsenal are still in the equation. There's still a lot of teams in the equation. I think Chelsea have got to be thrown into the mix as well. And there's a long way to go. But in saying that, Liverpool have not been in this position for a couple of seasons, and to lay down a marker would certainly be a wonderful situation for them. They've started the season exceptionally well, but you only have to look at last season. Tottenham started the season exceptionally well. I think they won the first 10 games, or undefeated in the first 10 games or something like that last season. Where did they finish? So there is warning signs, but in saying that, Liverpool have given themselves a great opportunity to get that little bit of a gap and a little bit of leeway at the top of the table.
I know with your manager's hat on, you'll tell me that you take it one game at a time, but if Liverpool win today and beat Manchester City next week, are City out of it?
No, just think about today. You can't look too far ahead, and that's not just because a manager, that's just as a pundit. You think you have to look at the next game, and there's an opportunity here to play against a team that, you know, play some good football, but you have to be able to punish the mistakes. And Liverpool are in fine form. The manager's come in and just kept it snowball and roller. It's just going, and it's in a position where they're really happy. You have to keep winning the next game, and this is a great opportunity to put a gap in there. But you know that Man City are going to come strong. You know that Arsenal will come strong. Chelsea are under Maresca are getting going as well. So I just think that Liverpool focus on today and win the game, and then they worry about next week.
I think when you look at the league table, I think you want this sort of game, don't you? I mean, we're saying top against bottom. And to give you that big cushion against Manchester City, I don't think you can get a better game than this, to be honest with you. The only thing you would say, maybe Southampton at Anfield as opposed to down at St Mary's, but this is a great opportunity for them to extend that gap.
But just as I was talking about that scenario, is this where you find out something about a dressing room that you want, as Arne Slot, your players to be super professional today and not have any element in your mind of, well, next up it's Manchester City and we can put them under real pressure if we can beat them at Anfield next weekend? I
think in an ideal world, in an ideal situation, and Charlie probably knows this better than me, obviously being in managerial business, but you want to have the players treat every game exactly the same as every game. You want to expect your players to go into a game thinking, we have to be professional, we've got to get the result done, we've got to win the game, and that regardless whether it's Manchester City, like Southampton, or whoever it is. So I think, yes, I'm sure he'll be drumming it into his players that this is a great opportunity, but in saying that, this is the biggest game because it is the next game, and that is the mantra that you have to go into and thinking and believing as a football player and as obviously as a coach as well.
We're talking about Southampton and Man City. We've got Real Madrid on Wednesday night. That's in between. So as a footballer, you don't think about, and I was trying to say, never think about the next game, because that's when you start enforcing, you know, having doubts about maybe picking up injuries or different things because you think, oh, I need to be... No, just think about today, win today's match, and then the ball will keep rolling, and then they'll go Wednesday, then they go Sunday against Man City, and the season will then start to appear. I don't think that the league's starting to shape up really. You know that Man City can come from behind, they've done it before, but as a Liverpool player and where they're at as the new manager of everything that's been happened since the start of the season, I think Liverpool will be delighted that they're in this position. They've been in this position before, under a previous manager, but now under this, how does Arne Slot handle this pressure? How do the players handle this pressure? So again, using past experiences to be it, but they have to focus on this game and this game only.
And the 3 international breaks, Gary, so far have sort of created these little blocks of fixtures where you think, well, we'll judge Liverpool on that, we'll judge Liverpool on this. That last set of 4 games, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, and at home against both Brighton and Aston Villa. You look at the next block of 4, which is Southampton, then City, and then 2 tricky-looking away games against Newcastle and Everton. Charlie said, yeah, the table is still shaping up a little bit, but you think if Liverpool were to go 10 or 12 points from the next 4, then surely you are looking.
Are you not listening to us?
Well, I'm listening, but I'm making my own conversation as well. But surely if you get through that block of 4 unscathed again, you think, well, this is a team that can definitely be there come the end of the season.
Well, I mean, up to now, with these like little blocks of 4 that you're talking about, they've done it ever so well. They've done really, really well. But again, it's like, I don't think you can really look so far ahead. I think the players will understand and the coach will understand and appreciate the fact that if they do get the results in these upcoming games, it puts them in an even stronger position. But I don't think that will be very much, thinking, it won't be like mentioned at the training ground. It certainly won't be mentioned before any games.
Sorry, it depends on what Arne Slot's done since he came into the club in terms of, do they break the season up? So you play 36 games, do they break the season up into periods where it may be four different periods? They know how much it should roughly look to have many points to go and win the title. And they might have, a block of 8 and 8 to games like that, and maybe at the end, the last block with it, and seeing how many points do they get and think, OK, we need 94 points or whatever to win the title. This is where we're going to get them. And they might be in a period now where they need to get, like you say, 10 or 12 points in the next 4 games to make the marker that, OK, we're on course for what we're doing. Every manager's different how they see it.
Will that be like, from a manager's point of view and a coaching point of view?
But
that'll not get transferred down to the players.
I'm only going from when I was at Stoke. So I was in as a Stoke. We used to break the season down into periods where we'd get into the top 10. Because top 10 for Stoke was a big thing. We needed big points for that. This is the points that we needed. So maybe I'm thinking as a new manager coming, they might do that. I'm saying this might be totally wrong, but what I'm saying is they might be in a period where they think, right, OK, we need 12 points. This period we need 24 points out of these certain amount of games. And that's just a little bit of bit of sport, bit of stuff amongst the players and the coaching staff that it drives them on during the season. I might be totally wrong that he does that, but I'm thinking they might do that, might be something different like that. But they're in a great place.
Was that under Tony Pulis?
No, that was under Mark Hughes.
Yeah, I've had that's a very similar conversation before with Sam Allardyce, who said he used to, particularly when he came into clubs, he would think, well, this block we need 5 points, talking about survival. This block we need 6. This block we might only get 2. And obviously football doesn't work like that. The other point, I guess, Gary, about collecting points is that Liverpool have got survivors from both successful seasons and very, very near misses against Manchester City that the guys who've been there and seen it before will think, do you know what, we know what City are capable. As Charlie said, we need to keep our foot right on the pedal and might have to churn out 11, 12 wins in a row at some point.
Well, that would be my attitude, like every season, to be quite honest with you. And I think that's the attitude of champions, as opposed to breaking it down into individual sections. I don't think you can do that personally myself. I get how it works, but if you're going to win the Premier League, I don't think, because what happens if you don't pick up any of the points where you think that you're going to get 12 points out of 4 games and you don't pick up any points, then all of a sudden, blinking hell, we've got like these next 3 games, we're only meant to get 3 points.
I'll let you into a little secret. I've done it for myself as the manager of a football club, where I think how many points, because I've looked at how many points on average does it take us to get promoted from League 2. And I've broke down the season for me personally as the manager. Not the players don't know about this. I know how many points, how many wins that I'm going to need to get promoted this season. So on my board, I wrote down what we are.
That's what I was trying to say.
So I know, at the moment...
Do you relate that to the players though?
No.
Yeah.
But at Stoke we did. We got it as players, and we would say, OK, we need 20 points at this period, and Mark Hughes said, no, if we pick up 17, that will allow us then to pick up more another period. So as the manager of Fleetwood, I've done that for my own self to know, only using that as a past experience, that I know that we're on course to making where we think we should be at the end of the season.
Are you under or over at the moment?
We're just below at the moment, but we are 3 games behind.
Yeah, I haven't played for about 3 weeks, have
Yeah,
you?
so-
This rain. We will get more from Gary and Charlie in just a moment. But let's head down to St Mary's for the first time. Mark Benstead and David Thompson.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, it was February 2011, the last time that the side bottom of the Premier League beat the team that was top of the table. So the odds are very much stacked in Liverpool's favour today. But as we know, sometimes the fixtures that come after an international break can throw up issues for sides. Liverpool have to guard against complacency today. David Thompson is alongside me, a man who played in Liverpool's biggest ever win against the Saints back in 1999. He scored as well, but let's not talk about that. Huge opportunity in front of Liverpool this afternoon, David. And in terms of the team selection, perhaps understandable changes given some of the travel the boys have had to face.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no surprise there. I think, obviously, I think McAllister played a game over a game and a half, and I think he's had issues in the past when coming back, a little bit of tiredness. So, no surprise there. There's been a few changes, but great opportunity for us here. Southampton bang out of form. I think they'll struggle today. I think they'll really struggle against us.
Sensible change, though, isn't it? Sensible for a manager to utilise his squad in moments like this and be wary of the workload of players that players have had.
Absolutely. I mean, you always got one eye into the future and the games coming up. Obviously, Real Madrid and Man City, but it's always nice to go into them games just reading in the manager's programme notes there when you're on the back of a win. So, as much as you've got one eye on the future, you have to, approach this game and you've got to get the points in the bag for today.
Yeah. And in terms of the other alterations, we're seeing Conor Bradley come in. It's been a little while since he started a Premier League game, but every time he has come into the team, he's tended to deliver. So it's one of those changes, again, that doesn't throw up any concerns.
No, absolutely. He's been phenomenal since he came in. That is a concern that he hasn't started a Premier League game since last April. But I think one thing that will play in his favour today is Southampton are not really so strong on the left-hand side, so it will allow him to get his confidence and obviously impose himself on the game. I mean, that's where they've struggled a little bit, left-hand side and in attack. Great in possession, trying to build out, trying to play through the thirds, but they really struggle in attack, and that's where we're strong. So we can obviously dominate that side of the game today and then build through there and hit them on the counter-attack.
Yeah, Liverpool under Arne Slot, of course, like to dominate the ball. Southampton themselves like to keep possession, I think 4th highest in the Premier League up until this point. How does that change the complexion of the match? Do you think Liverpool will alter at all what they try and do?
I don't think we'll change at all. I don't think we'll go hell for leather and try and close them down. We'll allow them to have the ball a little bit. Obviously, when they start coming into this middle third, that's when we'll start getting close. And then we'll try and hit them on the counter-attack like we always do. And with the likes of Darwin Núñez up there, he got his goal in the last game. It's a great opportunity for us. I think the last time we scored 4 goals was 2002. I think we could get a hatful of goals here today. I really do. I think, obviously, if you look at the games that Southampton they've done okay. They've still conceded lots of chances, and they had Ramsdale to thank for that, and he's missing today. He's a huge loss for them today.
Yeah.
And now here comes the sprinklers.
Yeah, it's amazing. No matter how much rain is forecast, the sprinklers still go on. One of the quirks of Premier League football. Just to finish up, the guys in the studio have touched upon it already. Huge opportunity for Liverpool today. So much extra excitement added on to today, given what happened with Manchester City yesterday. Oh. As a player, can you ignore that, or is it only natural you get caught up in a bit of that and say, we can go so many points clear?
No, I think you're bound to get caught up in it, but you've got to do the job in hand. You approach every game as it comes and on its merits, but they've got to go into the City game and the games beyond that. And we were talking about it with Cara before in the lounge. There's important games beyond this game and City in 2 away games with Everton and Newcastle coming up. So, you've got to get the points in the bag. So, concentrate on today's game, get the points in the bag, kick on into the Man City game. Obviously, don't drop any points, and you keep that distance. And then all of a sudden, you're coming into the middle third of the season. You could be 11 points clear. It's a great position to be in. And really unexpected.
It really is unexpected, a bit like those sprinklers, but that is top punditry. Didn't flinch, he took a sprinkler full in the face. That and Storm Bert to deal with down the south coast. It's blustery conditions, but we will soldier on. Don't you worry about that.
God bless you, Mark. Thank you very much indeed. What a start, though, it has been to the season for Liverpool under Arne Slot. 15 wins from 17 matches in all competitions. A record-breaking opening to his time as Liverpool head coach.
It's the first day of the Premier League season. It's all about the new Liverpool. Arne Slot's Liverpool. And across the face of goal, Diogo Jota, Liverpool score. And Davis got a toe, but not enough to stop Mohamed Salah. Anfield expects as Arne Slot takes his seat. It's a lovely ball threaded for Luis Diaz. Now Diaz goes for goal and finds it. Look at the white shirts coming here. Salah! Looks at the door, single-minded and scores. They lose for the first time and they'll be furious about it. Liverpool return to the big league. It's the new revamped UEFA Champions League. It's Cody Gakpo. It's a clinical Liverpool counter-attack. And Gakpo and Szoboszlai is there. And that is perfection from Liverpool. Now can Liverpool crown another flowing move with a goal? Oh, yes, they can! And so the defence of the Carabao Cup begins tonight for Liverpool. Jones again. The little thread is beautiful. Oh, stunning goal by Curtis Jones and finished by the deadly assassin that is Diogo Jota. Jota towards Konate, goal!
Forza Bologna!
There's nothing quite like Anfield under the lights on a Champions League night. Salah. Something building here for Liverpool. Salah's looking to do it on his own! Another special Mohamed Salah moment.
That's a nice ball from Tsimikas. Liverpool are forward in numbers here, and it's Diogo Jota.
Salah. And the ball delivered, and here's Jones, and scores!
Back to the Champions League for Liverpool. Edge of the box, a good effort, good save. Tsimikas in the box. There's the cross. Salah's header. And Nunes taps in. Liverpool score. Darwin Nunes.
They're billing it as the biggest test of Arne Slot's hugely successful start, and they're so good at it. Arsenal are back in front just before half-time. Off goes Nunez. Goalkeeper goes home. Nunez, Salah, goal! Outstanding from Liverpool! Liverpool have recent history of cup heartbreak here, although when they've been here in the League Cup before, they have had success. Gakpo is going to drive for goal, and he scores incredibly! That is one heck of a goal from Cody Gakpo! There's a real sense of deja vu. Just behind Welbeck, he's going to break to Caniolo, that's a great hit! Gakpo towards Nunez, oh it's in! Liverpool have got themselves a goal! Here comes Salah, Liverpool's tails are up. Salah! Liverpool's 100% record goes on the line against tough opposition. Quite at the ball, what a ball! Luis Diaz, oh, it's outstanding! It had class written all over it. It's another chance, it's another goal, it's Luis Diaz. If you work it right, this is 4. It is 4. It's another opportunity for Liverpool to enhance their standing at the top of the Premier League table. Comes towards Virgil van Dijk, who helps it on for Salah. And Liverpool all of a sudden have players up in support. There is a challenge on Salah, but it should be a chance for Darwin Nunez. It's a goal for Darwin Nunez. And Salah gets the break. Can Liverpool make this count and put it to bed? Salah all the way and slams the ball home. And this incredible start to the season continues. Not just for Mohamed Salah, it's for Liverpool.
But not easy for the rest of you managers, is it? Because he's making it look far too easy at the moment, Arne Slot. To what extent do you think that he is building on the foundations that Jurgen Klopp left, and to what extent is it his own mould that has made Liverpool seem to find a new level?
Well, I think what he did in the first couple of weeks was always mention what Jurgen had done and what his staff had left behind, which was good because there was not many turnover of players, which was key, and he can get a stability within the group. But then his staff and himself have added, I think, more control within the games in terms of how they build and the patience and that. But you know, he's a top manager. He's managed at the top level, and the ideas are there that he wants to have. He's got world class players, and that helps. And I think there's a wee bit of a different sparkle to some of these players that have been there for a long time. Salah and people like that this year is, you know, they're in a different level again this year compared to what they have probably in the last couple of years.
That sparkle then that you talk about and the improvements that have been made is the key area for you, your old position then of midfield, that the way Arne Slot wants to play perhaps suits some of the midfielders, particularly someone like Curtis Jones, more than Jurgen Klopp's system did.
Yeah, and Jurgen was very successful in terms of really aggressive pressing. Liverpool will press, but they'll wait and they'll have a bit how they want to build and different types of build-ups, and you know, 2 control in midfield and 3 build up from the back, and wing backs coming higher and the wingers coming inside. But they won't control with the ball, and you know, the quality is always there. It's everybody sees the game totally different, but what he's been able to step into is an environment that's in a good place. The players seem positive in terms of, you know, the new manager coming in with new staff, new ideas, and a fresh voice. You know, Jurgen and his staff been there a long time, and you know, this has probably gave the lads that felt that maybe when a new manager coming in, it was time for them to go, and lads that have been there for a while, they think this has re-energised them and ready to go again, and the performance have shown that so far.
And I think that point about the fresh voice, Gary, is so interesting, because it's not necessarily, it can be viewed as a criticism of Jurgen Klopp, but after however many games he took charge of, he's only human. Eventually, even he would run out of things to say, run out of motivational pep talks to give a very similar group of players. That it is, as Charlie said, just a different voice with slightly different ideas can find that 5 or 10% between finishing third and potentially being able to go on and win the whole thing.
Well, I think you have to go back to like when Jurgen actually stated that he was leaving, and what was his cause for leaving. He says he doesn't have the energy to do it. Now, that's the difference. A new manager comes, a new coach comes in, younger man, like keen, enthusiastic. He has that extra energy. He wants to have that extra energy, and that can transmit through to the players. And I think that's exactly what's happened. I think Liverpool, tactically wise, how I see it from from Jurgen to Arne, is we don't expose ourselves that much. With Jurgen, everything was all about the press, defending on the front foot, playing high up the pitch, go and attack the ball, try and win the ball high up the pitch, and then play from there. To a certain extent, it's similar to Arne Slot. When you look at the 4 players, you'll have Mohamed Salah, you'll have Darwin Núñez or like Jota, and you'll have Luis Diaz. And Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones will come from the middle of the park to make that 4, to try and press them in there. But if they get through that 4, then Liverpool are far more solid now, in my opinion, than what we were under Jurgen Klopp. At times when we went hell for leather, we went stupid at times, like you know, try to press the ball. You got Andy Robertson trying to win the ball somewhere like in the centre, right, midfield or something like that, exposing ourselves, and like we left ourselves really vulnerable. I can't recall any time this season where really teams have got behind us and like being like through on the goalkeeper, one-on-one situations, whereas last season that seemed to be happening on a regular basis every game. This season I don't see that happening at any like stage of the game, and I think we're far more solid now. Whether that's because, as you would say, Charlie, we actually are like more measured in possession, and we like dominate when I say dominate the possession, more controlled possession throughout the course of the game, that probably helps. But it's far more measured defensively as well.
Which is interesting, because actually, to use that phrase that Gary just did of hell for leather, sometimes in one-off games, and you always felt it particularly with City at Anfield, that approach of just charging around actually really worked against City, but actually over the course of 38 games, maybe being slightly more measured.
By the way, we're not saying that the Liverpool players run around like lunatics.
No, absolutely not.
There was a system in place that the energy, because the crowd and Jurgen and his enthusiasm, but the crowd and the cop, that would lift it, and that would probably entice the players to go even harder. But there was a structure behind it. But when you're playing against a Man City, they can pick you off. But what I'm saying is, when you're playing against a team that press so high, one pass can take 4 or 5 players out the game. But I don't see that with this Liverpool team. I don't see when they go and press. I think they have the numbers behind the ball in the middle of the park. They might go defend with 5, attack with 5, but they've got that position, and they don't get done in behind as regular. So that is the system. That's, you know, when you get played through, that's system failure. But I think Slot's come in, he's measured the Dutch way in terms of how they build and what they want to do. They're in control of what they want in and out of possession, and it seems to suit these players that they've got at the moment what he does. But I just think he's brought a calmness to the whole club, but also to this group of players. And he inherited a very, very good squad.
And it means that Arne Slot is going well in the Carabao Cup, going well in the Champions League and going well in the Premier League as well. Right on top, just where the Dutchman wants to be.
Yeah, it would be a bit strange if I would tell you that I'm not enjoying being in the position we are in now. But we also understand that it's only 11 games now. Yeah. So that's a lot of games have to be played, and we all know that the teams we face in this league, they are able to have the same run of games as we have. So if we want to stay where we are, we have to keep bringing the results in, which is not going to be easy starting on Sunday. Although everybody maybe feels like, okay, they are bottom of the league at the moment, but they don't play at all like this. They made it very difficult for the teams that are top 3, top 4, top 5. Their playing style is very interesting. It was a joy to watch their games because they have a very interesting and nice way of playing. So it's going to be a difficult one, especially after the international break, which is always a difficult one for everyone. And the first 2 times we played at home, now we play away. So another challenge. Yeah, like we said, we like to be where we are, and if we want to stay there, we have to keep on winning games.
You mentioned before this is top against bottom in the Premier League, but does the strength of the Premier League show that Southampton could still be a capable team?
I would say much more than a capable team. I think they are very, very capable of playing teams like us. I can think it was against United where they had a penalty first. So they've been, in my opinion, a bit unlucky, but their playing style has been excellent, and they've been into almost every game. They could have got a result in almost every game they've played. So I know everybody is looking at that Madrid and City is difficult, but in my opinion, Southampton is going to be a difficult one as well.
Can I just ask you as well how you view the long-term challenge now as well, now that we know that Pep Guardiola is going to be sticking around at Manchester City for another couple of years?
Yeah, that's good news for City, first of all. And also good news for the league, because I think everybody wants to have the best managers possible around over here, the best players over here. And he's definitely one of the best managers, maybe the best manager of the league. So if you look at what he did in the last 3 years, 4 times champions in a row, I think. Yeah, so it's fair to say that he's maybe the best manager in the league. So that is a good thing. But on the other hand, they have so many quality players that if he would have made the choice to leave the club, I wouldn't have expected them to end up bottom of the league next season. So, but yeah, good for the City fans and interesting for us as managers to keep on facing one of the best managers football has ever had.
Well, he has 28 points from his opening 11 games as Liverpool head coach. That's the most in Premier League history alongside Gus Hiddink, but desperate for another 3 this afternoon. If you're watching us on social media, you are about to leave us, but details of how to watch the full pre-match show and sign up to LFC TV are available. liverpoolfc.com/watch for all you need to know. This is what's coming up over the course of the rest of the afternoon and beyond. We'll still hear from Quaveen Kelleher between now and a 2 o'clock kick-off down on the South Coast. You'll be able to hear full audio commentary of that, and we are back with all the reaction at 4 o'clock. Later on, that reaction will also be available as a podcast from wherever you get your podcast, and then you can watch the whole game in full from midnight tonight on LFC TV. And all the behind-the-scenes access will be available tomorrow on YouTube and Facebook as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, much more build-up from St Mary's. Only Chelsea and Manchester United have won more times at Southampton than Liverpool in the Premier League era. Can they do it again this Sunday afternoon?